Hello, everyone. My name is Jaleesa, and today I will be giving a presentation on Toastmasters, specifically developing communication and leadership skills with Toastmasters. And before we begin, I want to ask who is on the line. And
Chris
do I have
Jackson.
Christopher Jackson? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. All right, now that we have all of our attendants, we are going to begin. So this presentation will go over a few things: the facts and figures, the educational program, the icebreaker, table topics, a typical meeting, and the many features that Wells Fargo Toastmasters can provide you. A little bit about myself first. On the slide, you can see that I've been on one hot air balloon. I've competed in 2 Toastmasters International Speech Contests, and I've traveled to 3 countries, which are France, England, and Netherlands. So those are just some fun facts about me. But I would also like to share that I've been involved in Toastmasters for approximately 2.5 years, and in my time at Toastmasters, I've had several leadership roles. During my first year, I was Vice President of Public Relations. I was in charge of promoting my club through flyers, newsletters, and more. And recently, I was president of my club, Stagecoach Speakers HMHQ. And as president, I oversaw meetings. I created the agenda for officers' meetings. I kept track of the progress of my club as a whole to ensure that we met specific goals. Also, I work at Wells Fargo as a business procedure writer in home lending. And I've been a business procedure writer for about 3 years. Now I would like to share a quote with you guys from our CEO, John Stump. And it says, "There was a time in my career when I couldn't speak in front of a crowd. I would absolutely freeze. I joined Toastmasters, and it changed my life. This company is so willing to invest in you." The backstory behind this is, before John Stump was CEO of Wells Fargo, he was in a entry-level position, and he really had... Oh, I'm hearing some background noise. Can you please mute your lines?
Sorry.
It's okay. And he really had trouble with communicating in front of people. And so he decided to join Toastmasters. And it literally changed how he spoke in front of people. It gave him the confidence that he needed to be a leader. Overview. So here are just some facts and figures. Toastmasters International was established in 1924 by Ralph Smedley, and there are literally clubs all over the world. There are clubs in Japan, Canada, Malaysia, South Africa, and more. Membership exceeds 332,000 members in more than 400 clubs in 135 countries. The majority of membership, however, is in the US, but again, there are clubs literally all over the world. So let's say you're going on summer vacation and you want to go to Paris. Well, while on vacation, you can visit a club in Paris and see how they operate their meetings. Toastmasters has an educational program. There is a leadership track, and then there's a communication track. So I'll speak about the communications track first. There are 4 levels in the communication track. There's competent communicator, advanced communicator bronze, Advanced Communicator Silver, and then Advanced Communicator Gold. Right now, I just completed Competent Communicator, aka the CC manual. And this manual contains a list of 10 projects, which are basically 10 speeches that I would have to complete. So these speeches are regarding how to organize a speech, how to memorize your notes, how to have good body language, how to command your audience, and more. Above, you'll see the leadership track, and there's 3 levels to that. There's the competent leader, the advanced leader bronze, and then the advanced leader silver. So with the CL manual, the competent leader manual, there are also 10 projects pertaining to leadership within meetings. So if you serve as a Toastmaster, as a speech evaluator, as a grammarian, you can earn credit towards your competent leader manual. And then at the very end of this image, you see DTM. DTM stands for Distinguished Toastmaster, and that is the highest level that a Toastmaster can reach. To reach DTM status, it usually takes several years. If you're really fast, maybe you can reach that within 2-3 years. But for most people, it takes 5 years or more to reach that level, to reach that status. Icebreaker speech. On November 6, 2014, I remember myself giving my first speech, the icebreaker. And my first speech was called My 20-Something Manifesto, which was about the ups and downs of being a 20-something in today's world. And I can still remember how I felt on that day. I was nervous. My palms were really sweaty. I had goosebumps on my arms. But you know what? I also felt very excited, and I was ready to try something new. Another part of Toastmasters is doing table topics. And table topics help members develop their ability to organize their thoughts quickly and respond to an impromptu question or topic within 1 to 2 minutes. And for me, Toastmasters has really helped me with impromptu speaking. When I am given a table topic, the questions are really, really random. And I'm in front of a crowd, and I take about 10 seconds to digest that question, and I just speak. And really practicing that craft can help you in job interviews and can help you in other areas of your career too. What is a typical Toastmasters meeting like? Well, below I have an agenda. So there's several roles of a Toastmasters meeting. There's the Toastmaster, who is the facilitator of the meeting. There's the grammarian. They are in charge of tracking filler words such as ums, ahs, so's. They also keep track of the word of the day, which is encouraged. It's encouraged that all members try to use the word of the day. And then you have the speakers, and they will deliver a prepared speech. After that, there's the table topic master, which I think is the best role of any Toastmasters meeting. Their responsibility is to come up with really fun questions to ask members of the audience. There is the speech evaluator, whose role is to evaluate the speeches of members. And I will note that if you are a speech evaluator, you will only evaluate one person's speech. You won't be in charge of evaluating all of the speeches for the meeting. There's the general evaluator, and their role is to evaluate the entire meeting. They might talk about how the meeting started on time, or how the meeting started late, and they will also talk about how the meeting ended. And then last but not least, there's the timer. And the timer's role is to time the speeches, the evaluations, and the table topics. Are there any questions so far? Any questions? Okay, I will take silence as a no. Value. There is so much value when it comes to joining Toastmasters International. Now I would like to share a quote with you from James Humes, who is an author and presidential speechwriter. This quote says, "The art of communication is the language of leadership." I will repeat, the art of communication is the language of leadership, which basically means how you communicate to someone is an indicator of your leadership ability. Having good verbal communication skills can add more to your charisma. And when you're able to communicate, you're able to lead. If you were to think of someone who had really bad communication skills, those people are less likely to be leaders in the workplace, to be community leaders or leaders in the general society. So communication is key to developing and having that leadership ability. Features and benefits. There's a ton of benefits and there's a ton of features, as you can see in this image. However, I'm just going to talk about a couple of these as we do not have time to cover everything that's on the slide. So one of the features of this club is that it's a self-paced program. When you are given your first manual consisting of speeches, you're even required to speak every month. How fast you go in the program is totally up to you. I know of some people, it's their goal to get through one manual in 6 months. Some people may take a year, and some people may even take 2 years. So it's totally up to you. It's totally self-paced. One of the benefits of Toastmasters is that you can really develop, you will really have a lot of leadership development opportunities. So within your club, you can volunteer to be a contest chair or be a judge for a contest. You can volunteer to do flyers and pamphlets for your club. You can volunteer to lead an open house. So the opportunities are truly limitless. Toastmasters adds a ton of value to the individual. For example, it can help in your career. If you learn in Toastmasters can transfer to your career. So in Toastmasters, you're practicing public speaking. Okay, in your career, let's say you are a home preservation specialist, it can help you with your public communication skills. Whenever you are on phone conferences and face-to-face meetings, it will give you that confidence, and in return, it can help you with your career advancement at Wells Fargo. And it adds value to the organization. For example, it can help you with better customer communication. Again, if your job requires you to be on the phones a lot, just knowing how to speak confidently and knowing how to talk with someone without saying so every couple of minutes can really improve that customer team member communication process. So why should you join Toastmasters? Well, that's easy to answer because communication isn't optional. Toastmasters prepares you for the moments you don't always think about. Let's face it, whether it's verbal or nonverbal, communication isn't necessary. So now I'm going to open up the phone lines and ask our attendees how do they think Toastmasters can help them. Chris, are you on the line? Okay, I'm not hearing anything. You may be on mute, so if you could unmute your phone. Okay, I'm still not hearing anything. Hello, Chris, are you on the line? Okay, well, I am...
Yes, I am actually. Sorry, I was trying to get my phone, trying to get my thing off for muted. I think Toastmasters can help me in many ways as far as doing presentation and on the job and communicate with my team members and doing interviews and many different aspects I can use Toastmaster, including now.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for that response. So as you can see, Toastmasters can help you with your self-confidence to excel at job interviews, to lead team meetings, to lead seminars, and more. So unfortunately, this is not a free program, but for a very low fee, you can participate. So for $20, that will get you a one-time new membership. So $20 is a one-time new membership fee. Once you pay that, you will never have to pay another $20 again for that purpose. After that, you are required to pay $45 every 6 months, and that's for membership dues. If you are unable to afford some of these costs, I would suggest going to your manager. Perhaps they can cover the cost of you attending Toastmasters. Maybe they can count that as a personal development expense for you. I also know that some clubs are sponsored, meaning they'll have a sponsor that will cover everyone's memberships for 1 to 2 years. And the club that I'm currently involved in, Stagecoach Speakers HMHQ, we have a club sponsor, and all of the members are not required to pay anything for 2 years. Some common excuses that I hear about not being able to join Toastmasters is, well, I'm too busy to join a club. I can't afford it. I already know how to speak. Well, I would like to address each one of these excuses individually. So when someone says I'm too busy to join a club, my response to that is, how can you be too busy to spend time on your personal development? Just look at it as a personal development opportunity. And a lot of clubs meet during your lunch break. And at Wells Fargo, everyone is required to take at least a 30-minute lunch break. So if you are really too busy to join a club, just go in during your lunch break. If you can't stay for the entire hour, then stay for 30 minutes. Also, if you are truly unable to join during your lunch break, maybe you're one of those people who like to work through their lunch, I would recommend joining a community club. A community club usually meets at a library, at a church, at a restaurant, and it just consists of a bunch of community members, and they get together to give speeches. So if you can't join a corporate club, there's always a community club that may meet on Sundays or Saturdays or Fridays or Monday nights. So the flexibility is really there. Okay, bullets 2. I can't afford it. I have talked about this earlier, but if you can't afford the dues and the membership dues and the one-time membership fee, then you can always go to your manager and ask if they can help you out with that expense. The worst thing that they can say is no. If they can't, then I would speak to that club's president and ask if that club is sponsored by someone, maybe you can join the membership roster and not have to pay anything if that club is sponsored. And bullet number 3, I already know how to speak. Well, even if you already know how to speak, there is nothing wrong with expanding upon that. Perhaps you are a good speaker, but you join Toastmasters to become a great speaker. There's a difference between good and great, and everyone needs practice. Practice makes perfect sense. So just because you may think you already know how to speak, there's always room for improvement, and no one is ever perfect. Okay, Toastmasters Club, a place to fail. So with any risks that you take, there is always a possibility of failure. And I just want all of you guys to know that in Toastmasters, you can make mistakes. In fact, you probably will make mistakes. But guess what? I just want you guys to know that you will be encouraged, you will receive feedback, and you will be able to speak regularly in a productive and supportive environment. When you deliver your first speech, the icebreaker, I'm pretty sure that some of you may stutter, stumble over your words, some of you may pace back and forth nervously, but that's okay. Your first speech is not going to be your best speech. Your first speech is not going to be your perfect speech. And again, with risks, there is a chance of failure. But again, you're going to be encouraged. You're going to receive feedback, and you're going to be in a safe environment. Okay, I am going to open up the phone lines again. Do I have any questions about Toastmasters at all? Are there any questions regarding Toastmasters being a place to fail, or I should rephrase that? So I'm going to.
No questions.
Okay. Christopher, do you have any? I'm going to ask you a specific question. So what are some of the common excuses you have heard about not joining a club?
Well, some of the excuses is basically time, lack of time. Gotta take care of kids. Um, Not enough time in between during the daytime to skip and enjoy and go attend a meeting. So many issues related in that aspect.
Right, right. Thank you for that response. Toastmasters is truly a place where leaders are made. Myself, here's a little background about my own personal journey. So before I started Toastmasters, I was very nervous about speaking in meetings. When I was called on unexpectedly, I would not feel very good about my response. I would get very nervous. My palms would be sweaty. I would get goosebumps on my arms. And having just graduated from Iowa State University, I felt like I could be doing better in regards to my verbal communication skills. And I knew that if I did not improve upon that, that could really hinder me from moving on to the next level at Wells Fargo. So back in 2014, I joined Toastmasters. And it really has been such a marvelous journey for me. I've completed 10 plus speeches. I've met some wonderful people, both inside of my club and at other clubs. I've really learned about what it takes to be a leader. Through my leadership roles as VP of Public Relations, through my role as president, and I would like to talk about that briefly. When I was president of my club, that was a changer for me because I was so used to being just a member. When I was president, I had to not only concentrate on myself, but concentrate on other members of my club. And I had to be in charge of reserving rooms, making sure that the agenda is sent out, conducting members officer executive meetings on a monthly basis, making sure that my club was going to reach their goals, to reach distinguished status, making sure that everyone is going very smoothly in accordance to their manuals. So it was challenging, but I'm so glad that I was president, that I was VP of Public Relations, that I was just a member of Stagecoach Speakers HMHQ. So on this slide, you will see a couple of images. The first image on the left, the top left, is actually at a conference, the District 19 Toastmasters Conference, hence why we all have name tags. And these are some lovely ladies of my club. Janet Lloyd, starting from the left, Janet Lloyd, Dixie Overton, myself, and Jacqueline Recana. And we had a blast at the District 19 conference. There was educational sessions, we heard a speech contest, we heard a table topics contest, there was a banquet, and that's just proof that what you put into the club, you will get out. So you don't always have to limit your activities to just within your club. You can also participate in conferences, and you can even volunteer at them, and conferences are just a great way to network with other people within your district, within your own community. The picture on the top right is a picture of a couple of members. Dixie Overton, Jacqueline Rakina, Jeff Smith, and Janet Lloyd, and this is at a conference. Not a conference, this is at our speech contest. So these are all of the contestants of our speech contest, and we decided to take a picture of everyone. On the bottom left, there's a cake that says Stagecoach Speakers HMHQ Happy First Birthday. So my club is actually a new club, and we've only been around for 2.5 years. And so when our first birthday approached, we actually had a party after hours. And so we had food catered in, we had a cake, we invited lots of team members, and we ran through a quick meeting of what a typical Toastmasters meeting would look like, and it was just a blast. And on the right, the bottom right, there is a picture of some of the members that was at that Toastmasters party. And as you can see from this picture, our members vary from entry level to managers, and it's just a diverse group of people. So again, what you receive from Toastmasters is exactly what you put in. Toastmasters can take you so far beyond just the speeches. But if the speeches is what you want to primarily concentrate on, that's great. But if you also want to concentrate on the leadership aspect of the educational program, there's just so many opportunities, from contests to conferences to different programs to open houses and more. Okay, now I would like to open up the lines again, and I would like to ask the participants, I think I only have one participant, Christopher Jackson, what do you think Toastmasters can do for you personally?
I definitely can use Toastmaster. Uh, I believe I can improve my speech. I believe I can improve, especially with the table topics. It, Sometimes it's very difficult to develop conversational response to a question on the fly without using the filler words. So I've always tried to improve in that arena myself personally, but going to Toastmaster, I think I can do better than what I'm currently doing now.
Okay, so you're saying that Toastmasters can help you professionally by eliminating some of the filler words that you tend to use?
That is correct.
Okay, how about personally in your own personal life? How do you think Toastmasters can help you there?
I think Toastmasters can also help me in my personal life because it will help me communicate better with my wife, with my kids, and people that I meet on a day-to-day basis. I will always be able to start, start up a short conversation with them without, again, using filler words.
Excellent, excellent. And speaking of filler words, I would like to share that communication is really key to leadership. And just yesterday, I had an instance of when I was on a job interview with a recruiter. It was actually a phone screening. And the recruiter, they used a lot of filler words. Every other word, it seemed like, was a so, but. And I was really amazed that a recruiter would use so many filler words when asking questions. And not only did they use a lot of filler words, but when they stated their questions, it was very unorganized. They would, how should I say this? Instead of simplifying the question, they would make it very difficult by adding in a lot of unnecessary words. So, for example, they were saying, well, what would you do if you were in a difficult situation at work? But they wouldn't just leave it at there. They would continue by saying, and something happened, and um, and what about your pipeline? And basically, what I'm trying to say is, well, how would you handle the situation? So that's how they were stating that question. And as the interviewee, it was difficult for me to answer that in a very clear and efficient way because of the way that that question was delivered to me. So moral of the story is that communication is really key to both professional and personal success. So at Wells Fargo, there are 3 local clubs. There's a club out at Jordan Creek, one downtown, and then there's one at headquarters. Now, for these clubs, some meet every Tuesday, every Wednesday, and every Thursday, and all of these clubs are during the lunch break. Some start 12:10 to 12:55, some start 12:05 to 12:55, but basically during the same time period. And as I am speaking about these clubs, I believe there is going to be a new club that will be getting started very soon at the, what location is that? At the Parkview location in Des Moines. Also on this slide is the contact information for each of these clubs. All of these people are team members, so if you are interested, just shoot them an IM, shoot them an email, and they will be able to assist you.
Do you happen to know where the club is available at outside of Wells Fargo? If I would like to sign up, because I was told that sometimes they have them at the library, either the Eastside Library or the Franklin Library.
Excellent question. Well, to find out more information about outside clubs, you can go to toastmastersinternational.com, and it will list out a list of clubs by area, which
Okay.
is going to be my next slide, actually. So for additional resources, you would click on this link, the second one for, not the second one, but you would click on the third one, the fourth one, Toastmasters International, and that will take you to the website, and you go to that website, you type in your area, and it will give you an entire list of clubs in Iowa or Minnesota or Des Moines, Iowa specifically. There are also links about Toastmasters on Team Moments. So if you are trying to find a Wells Fargo club in Minnesota, you click on this link and it will give you a list of every Wells Fargo Toastmasters club that's listed. The second bullet point will give you the same information, except it is not on Team Moments. And then the third link is regarding John Stump's cover, his article about himself in Toastmasters magazine. So if you're interested in learning about how John Stump, what he thinks about Toastmasters and how it has benefited his career, I highly suggest that you check this link out. So I would now like to open it up for any additional questions that the audience may have regarding this presentation today. So, are there any more questions?
So you mentioned when you went to Paris, were you able to visit the Toastmaster out there at all?
Very good question. So, it was on my itinerary. I had it planned out. I was going to go to Paris. Well, while I was at Paris, I was going to visit a Toastmasters club, but it just didn't pan out that way. I was pretty busy visiting the Eiffel Tower and other tourist destinations, so I just didn't have the time in my schedule.
Understood.
Yes, yes. But the next time that I do travel internationally, I am going to make time for it in my schedule. So I think the next place that's on my list is Canada. So if I'm in Vancouver, I would definitely check out a Toastmasters club there. And I would like to note that every club is different. I mean, every club has the same roles, such as grammarian, speaker, speech evaluator, but how each club runs their meetings is different based on area, based on cultures. So how a club is ran in Des Moines, Iowa may be different from how a club is ran in Paris, France, or in Malaysia, or in South Africa.
Okay.
And it looks like we have, okay.
Are you saying would it be a little different from Des Moines to Atlanta or maybe Texas, or would it be the same? Because usually I think they have to spend so many hours as far as minutes or hours a week or month on for Toastmaster, correct?
Well, a meeting is typically an hour or more, but is your question pertaining to, is there a certain amount of time that a member is required to attend Toastmasters?
Yeah, that's correct.
That varies from club to club. Some clubs, they don't really have a time requirement. You can come and go as you please. You don't have to attend a certain amount of meetings in a month or in a quarter. In some clubs, they keep track of that. And in order for you to be an active club, you have to attend, or I should say, in order for you to be an active member, you have to attend at least 3 meetings every 6 months or attend at least 1 meeting per month. So it really varies.
Okay.
Any more questions?
So your personal experience with Toastmaster, how would you rate it? In general, I know you mentioned your experience, but how would you rate your personal experience?
How would I rate Toastmasters as it pertains to my personal development?
Correct.
I would, so out of 10, 1 being downright terrible and 10 being the best organization out there, I would rate Toastmasters a solid 9, because I wouldn't give it a 10 because I think no organization out there is perfect, but I just received so much from Toastmasters. I've met so many good people both in and outside of Wells Fargo. I've even traveled because of Toastmasters. I've traveled to Cedar Rapids and Waterloo, and next in the fall I'll be traveling to Dubuque to attend a conference. And so just meeting lots of new people, networking, traveling, and also, number 1, improving on my verbal communication skills is just the greatest. It's phenomenal. It really has been a wonderful opportunity for me.
Awesome.
All right. Well, it seems that we are at the top of the hour, and I would like to say that this presentation will be posted on Stagecoach Speakers HMHQ's account on Team Moments. And I can also email this presentation to all of the attendees that are online right now. Okay. I would like to thank everyone for joining. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. You did an awesome job.
Thanks.